Greetings and salutations, scholars, and welcome to the second episode of the Scholars with a Capital S podcast. I'm your host, Eli Engler. I'm here today with my co-host,
Rachel Listowski.
And we are also joined by a very special guest, our first ever interviewee of the podcast, Mr. Derrick Weisburd.
Hello, everyone. My name is Derrick Weisburd. I'm very excited to be here today.
Oh, we're super excited to have you, Derrick. So, little background, Derrick works in the office with me and Rachel, and we are having him on to talk about his experience in the Scholars Program. So our first question for you is kind of a loaded one. It's going to be very difficult. Give us the 60-second elevator pitch of who is Derrick.
Okay. Without further ado, as I said, my name is Derrick Weisburd. I am an industrial and systems engineering major here at Binghamton. I am in the Watson School of Engineering. As Eli said, I work in the office. I'm a Scholars Program Assistant. This is my second year working in the office. I'm a senior. It's my last year at Binghamton. I'm involved in other places around campus. I'm the music director of the Binghamtonics a cappella group. I've done a lot of theater here, and I also have been involved with other student theater groups such as Hinman Production Company, and I also do a lot of other things like top soccer, and oh my god, this is a loaded question.
You've said plenty. You said plenty.
Yeah, I think that's about it. That sums me up pretty well, yeah.
Basically, you're a jack of all trades.
I like to think so.
Yes, most certainly. Thank you for that answer, Derrick.
Thank you for the question.
Mm-hmm. So, we're very excited to have you here today because, you're a senior. You have so much experience here in the program. And, we wanted to get your perspective as a student who had a different high school experience than us, I kind of feel. Why did you choose Binghamton?
I chose Binghamton because my senior year, I'm the class of 2024, so my senior year was the first year of COVID. That was my spring of my senior year of high school. So, it all kind of started happening when, college decisions started coming out, which, was a lot to, take in. I'm we're about to, getting ready to, leave this next chapter of our lives, and all of a sudden, the world shuts down. So, definitely college decisions were heavily impacted on my year. And in the end, I ended up choosing Binghamton because it was close to home for me. I'm from Long Island, like a lot of other people at this school. Mm-hmm. I'm on the North Shore there, so it was really close to home. And, after being home for that long and, with the world still, in a standstill by the time, because, I came here in August and still by then it was really, really bad. So it just felt like the safer option at the time. It was... The world was at standstill. It was a SUNY for me, so that meant in-state tuition. And also, my sister went here, so it was a place that I'd already been familiar with. So with everything that was kind of going on, it just felt like the best option for me at that point.
Yeah, thank you for that answer, Derrick. That was really, really thorough. So I kind of want to jump off of that question and ask, what role did the Scholars Program play in that decision? It actually played quite a big role for me. So in the end, my final two that I was choosing between were Binghamton and George Washington down in D.C. And obviously that's two very, very different things. One of them is only 4 hours away. The other is in a different state. So, in addition to, just being close to home at that point with what was going on in the world, the Scholars Program was almost, I want to say that, obviously that's 4 years ago now, so I don't exactly remember what the final decision was, but I remember it being a really, really big factor. I had received the offer, and I was I did not get into the honors college at GW, so I was honestly just it's close to home, and you know what, I had been researching the program. It looked like a really good program. I had seen great things about it when I was doing my research online about other people who had done it, and I was you know what, why not go be in the little honors college up at Binghamton University? And so it really was a big, big deciding factor for me because it just gave Binghamton that edge that other schools didn't give me, and I couldn't be happier with how it played out. Yeah, well, we're glad that you're here, Derrick, and it really is GW's loss. So
100%. We don't know what we'd do without you. This office would not operate without Derrick. That is a fact.
Absolutely.
And so that kind of leads me to, I kind of want to ask you two questions.
Okay.
First, with COVID and scholars, did you find that you were nervous about the social aspect coming here because you were going to be so isolated? Did scholars like at all play a role in that you'd be kind of in a living community with people?
Kind of, yeah, that's kind of what it ended up being. You know, it was at a time when schools were still shutting down for the fall, and Binghamton made the choice to go through. We were on campus that semester, and I didn't know much about what the living situation would be beforehand. I knew I would, like, have a roommate and everything still, and being this, would be in the Scholars Learning Community, but I didn't know what that kind of looked like at the time, and I was really nervous about the aspect because I didn't know how many people were going to be there. We had, like, when you get into college, you, like, kind of start meeting people who were going, and a bunch of people were like, oh, like, because we had the option to be on campus or stay remote, and a bunch of people were like, oh, I'm not even going at all. Some people were, like, going, so I was like, oh, there's not a lot of people going. I wonder what it's going to be like. But, like, within the scholars friends that I had made prior to coming, everyone was like, oh, I'm going to be there. So I had been talking to people that I knew would be there, and I felt more comfortable having that, like, knowing in my brain that these people were going to be living with me and were going to be there given what was going on in the world at the time.
Okay, awesome.
So it was definitely a big relief knowing that I had that learning community to fall back on with just the unknown of what going to school during the COVID semester would even look like.
And so then once you got here and you were actually in the program, what about it made you want to keep staying involved?
It just honestly was the best decision for me because right out of the gate, as I said, that learning community gave me so many immediate close friends. And within the Scholars Program, you just meet so many people who are so well-rounded and so diverse in interests. And, like, everyone was just so eclectic and had their own, like, personality to them that we all just kind of wanted to stay together. And we decided that upon the next year, a lot of us ended up becoming mentors in the program and doing counsel. So it was kind of just like me and my entire friend group that I made in the learning community my first year that kind of just pushed me to be like, oh, we are all friends because of this program. Let's kind of give back to what the program that gave us each other and, like, kind of be that for the future generations.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you, Derrick.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I think, because last week on the podcast, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, Rachel and I talked about why we stay involved and kind of a similar reason
Very similar.
about the community. So it's nice to hear that it stays consistent throughout the years.
It really, really does.
Yeah, and so kind of, following that up, what was it like being a student mentor? What was your experience with that position?
I really like being student mentor. I think I was the first one out of the people who I know wanted to do it to kind of be like, you know what, I think I'm going to do that. I know a big thing was the housing, living in Broome. Some people were divided on coming back to Broome and some were wanting to stay, and I didn't really care. I love Broome. I think it's, like, such a great community. So I was like, yeah, I'll stay. I'll be here with, like, the freshmen and, like, be a mentor to them. And honestly, it was a great decision because I got to, like, plan events, which is so much fun, thinking of creative things to do with people who are, like, so new to the college life that we had experienced for a year at that point. But it was also, like, not to keep harping on, like, the COVID aspect of it, but, like, we didn't really have a regular experience, so we were all kind of eager to, like, make up for lost time and give the grade below us the experience that we never really got because, like, a lot of our stuff was hindered by the online aspect of that first year. So I was very excited to, like, step into a leadership role and, like, be able to, like, create fun events in person for, like, the people in the grade below me, and I had a good time. It was very successful. I still stay in touch with a lot of my mentees today, and, like, they're in some same extracurriculars as me, or I just, like, will see them on campus and I'll stop and chat with them. So I gave me great relationships, and it was a great experience to, like, kind of dip my toes into the world of scholars leadership, which would eventually lead to becoming a SPA now 2 years later.
That's a really good answer. Yeah, not to be like a broken record here. Yeah, I feel like that's all I'm saying. But were there any events in particular that stand out to you even now?
My favorite event that I think was the best event that I hosted was I did it with my roommate at the time because we were both mentors. Bella, if you're listening, love you. We were best roommate pair ever. We did an event that was, like, a Don't Judge a Book by its cover event where it's, like, I don't know if you've, like, seen on, like, TikTok or anything like that where, like, people will, like, wrap books so you can't see the cover and just, like, write, like, little, like, 3 bullet point details about them so that you can't see it and you kind of just have to pick off the vibe and then you, like, read that book. So like we made this event where we got a bunch of books from like I think Bella got them from her local library or something, where they were like 50 cents per book, and we got a bunch of them, got some candy, got some cookies for everyone, and we got so many people just like come stop by the lounge and pick up a book. Some people stayed and chatted with us, others picked up a book and left, but it was great because like it was just so this little like book club type vibe, and it was very cozy and comfy, and it was, I think it was spring semester in February, so it was still like cold out, so people came, got cookies, sat with us, read their little books, and it was definitely my favorite event that I hosted.
That's an awesome story. And I actually was at that event, I remember.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome. I love the opportunity to just come up with just creative events. Because you really are given the freedom to do anything you want.
Exactly.
A lot of people, fall on just like the basic stuff that everyone loves, ice cream, cookies, movies, but still like to be able to just be in your dorm and be like, oh, I can go and pick up a new book to read. That's just a cute experience. So I know you had mentioned that it kind of, being a mentor was a pipeline for you to end up being a spa.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like being a program assistant? Like, what is your take on this, being the most senior scholars program assistant right now in the office?
I really like it. It's definitely, I'm so grateful to have the job. Because it's paid.
We all gotta make money here.
We gotta make money, but that honestly wasn't even like the biggest factor for me. I just, as I said, I wanted to stay in. I was not done after being a mentor. I was like, I still want to be involved. Like, this program means so much to me. I had developed relationships with other people in the program, as well as the staff, Catherine and Steve and Morella, and they were just a group of people that I knew I wanted to work more with, and were just great mentors to me. And I decided I wasn't ready to end that relationship as a sophomore, and the opportunity was open. I had known people who were spas in the grade above me, Allison and Madison.
Miss you.
Love them. I hope they're doing well. And they had talked to me about what it was like, and they kind of described what it was like. So I went, I applied, and I got the job, and it was great because now I get to be in the office. So what I do right now, my biggest thing is I run our Be Engaged, which I think is really, really fun because I'm an engineering major, so I love the attention to detail and the logistical aspects of things. So I just have such a fun time going to events, being involved in the planning, getting to bring ideas up at meetings, and just kind of use my technical skills in a way that benefits so many people.
No, yeah, it really is so cool seeing how involved you can get in the office. Mm-hmm. Because right now, Derrick is our Be Engaged expert, okay? I am his pupil. I am learning under him.
I know you're taking after me next year.
I am. But, seeing the knowledge pass on from Allie, who had just mentioned to you, and the way that you're just digging into the details of the program, it's a really cool opportunity.
No, I love it. It's I get to stay on top of what everyone's planning, be kind of a figurehead for questions, and it's just a really cool position to be in, and just people come to me for help, and I send my little emails when I need to, and it's just a great time.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer, Derrick. And so we're gonna pivot a little bit, but It's on the same note because you mentioned that engineering side. We also talked about your involvement with arts. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to ask, how do you, not really related to the Scholars Program, but how do you balance those two things as a student with multiple, very, very different interests?
Yeah, so obviously, engineering and music and theater are two quite different streams. But I grew up performing and doing theater and music related things, and I just knew that was something I wanted to continue in college. I have been doing shows since middle school, and that was my true passion. So I definitely wanted to continue theater here. I've been in 2 main stage productions with the theater department. I was in one my first semester of my sophomore year, and then most recently I was in Rent last spring of 2023.
You were excellent in that. I saw it. It was phenomenal.
Thank you. That was there, and it's just so great. I love it. It's so cool to just be part of this big budget production, and everyone comes see it, and then I've gotten recognized by people on campus, or I'll just be walking and someone will be oh, you were in that, right? And I'm yeah. So I feel famous.
You are a celebrity, a local celebrity, okay?
Literally, sometimes I know I feel famous. Don't let it get to my head though. It definitely is as I said, because they're 2 complete opposite ends of the spectrum. it is tough to balance. Coming to college has been such a test of my time management. Not gonna lie, like there have been times when I've been like, oh my God, like, can I do this? And like, you know, sometimes that involves like sacrifices, that involves like not like taking semesters off from like my passions to focus on academics, or like, you know, like deciding it's just grind time and I want to do all these things, so I got to set aside the time for myself to get everything done while maintaining my academics, because obviously like it's still school, that's the most important part. And while it is fun to like go and do my things, I like got to focus on that, but also I know my extracurricular life is also so important to my success. Like I would literally go crazy if I didn't have that in my life too. So like I know that I need to balance it out. And in the beginning, you know, freshman and sophomore year was a lot of trial and error, figuring out what worked for me, you know, adapting to college academics and mixing that with my extracurriculars. So now I feel like I've kind of mastered it. Like, you know, there's still some setbacks and times, and, you know, if I need to pull an all-nighter here and there, so be it. That's not the normal, though. I'm glad to say that. I've kind of really focused on, like, balancing that. But it's just, like, you know, figuring out what works best for you. We all, like, work differently. But I'm so pro, you know, maintaining up with your extracurriculars. So if you're listening and you're like want to get involved on campus, don't let your academics set you back. If anything, I think you can use that to your advantage, because like I know it's so important to me.
That was a wonderful answer, and I really love how you kind of highlighted how extracurriculars are not just like an extra burden, how they can really like help with the academics.
My a cappella group is like literally one of my most important things in my life. Shout out to the Binghamtonics. We're great. But yeah, you know, and then like obviously in that, like I'm music director now, which is like another like big responsibility. So it's like kind of just like as you get older, you just pick up more things, but like you also grow as a person. So you grow into like figuring out how to manage it all, and like I just think it's very important.
No, I agree. It really is a wonderful opportunity once you get to college, and seeing that you can essentially do anything. Like,
literally anything.
When you walk onto the Spine during UFest and you see all of the clubs in the world, and you can become, like you're saying, you're music director, like you're literally in charge of like designing all of these numbers and performances and all of these things, and that's just you. You're just a college student and you're running all of that. And so I just think that's so important to tap into when you come to college and not to neglect.
I remember like my first U-Fest, I was like, didn't even think that like that many clubs existed. I was like, oh my God, like how, like, and all these, it's all like students, like it's like these people started out exactly where you are, like they were once on the Spine, like looking for things to join, and then like all of a sudden like you just like, I don't know, it's so cool to see where like everyone ends up extracurricularly, I guess. I don't know if it's a word.
Yeah.
But like, no.
We're following.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. Like, as you said, like, there's just so much to get involved in that you might not have even like thought you would like get involved in, that like, I don't know. Extracurriculars, I am such a fan of.
We strongly advocate. So we kind of touched on this earlier, but I'm just curious because, you know, as you described, you're like heavily involved in a lot of orgs on campus. And so, you know, when Eli and I got here, COVID was still an issue, but we were able to go to in-person classes, go to in-person club meetings, and do things. So how do you feel that starting out with, you know, half of the student body not even deciding to come to campus, you know, how did that impact your experience as a scholar, but also just as a student here in general? How did that shape your trajectory?
I'm not gonna lie, I like think it affected it quite heavily. I can confidently say I don't think I would be where I am. Like, some things would be the same. Like, scholars program is, I think, what kept me grounded, if I'm being so honest. Like, no matter what, I don't think that trajectory of my life would have changed. But like, not like having like the opportunity to like, you know, be like a freshman, like clubs weren't happening, classes weren't happening. Like, there was nothing, you could get involved if you wanted to, but like, it was hard. Like, you had to kind of seek it out for yourself and like there wasn't really that many opportunities. You kind of had to be proactive, which I was, and like I did like a few things my freshman year, but like I definitely wish I had that like opportunity to get involved a little bit more. But like, and I think there are definitely things that I would have found earlier, but you know, you just kind of had to, especially at that point, it was just like we were happy to be there and like making the most of it. And as I said, the scholars program is what kept me grounded, the most of it, because of the learning community. you know, we didn't get as many events as like the normal freshmen would, but like they really did a good job as like making it as normal as possible. And a lot of it was learning community, like being with other freshman scholars who were dealing with the same stuff. And like that's kind of how we kind of built our relationships rather than like finding them in other places. Like we just kind of connected with each other, which I think was really great for us.
Yeah, I feel like I could sense that there's kind of like a very strong bond
I
there.
know, a very strong bond between the class of 2024 scholars.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of just a off base, like, if you could change one thing about the Scholars Program, what would it be? To give you a little bit of
You're in
help.
the hot seat now.
Yeah, to give you some help,
Oh.
Rachel and I can share our answers from last week really quickly.
Yeah, maybe.
So I said we should have a class about cooking and baking and the science behind it. Rachel, what did you say?
I said that I wish there was there were more opportunities for upperclassmen to take topics courses, because I kind of miss them.
I think, not to like echo that, but like just, I mean, like I want, like if I could change one thing, it would be like upperclassmen engagement in general, which I think would benefit from like courses to kind of keep us connected, because we have Scholars 3 and Scholars 4, but that's very individual. And like what I loved most about the Scholars Programs courses is that was kind of just like a way to connect, not only like in a way that like was interesting academically, but also like a lot of the topics courses are like discussion based, so you kind of got to like get a taste of people's personality while also talking about like real issues that we didn't get, especially for me in STEM. Like that's what I loved so much about the topics courses, was that it was kind of a departure from my like major, and it was like so different. I took Psychology of the Human Bodies with Meriwether.
Me too.
Yeah, great class. And then debate with
We also
Me
Joe.
too.
Oh my
We took
god,
that,
yeah. And
See, I really am Derrick's,
Project.
project.
that's why you're
yeah.
taking after me. And like those were just so different from anything else I'd ever experienced, which is why I found them so interesting. And like just having, maybe not like as a requirement, but having the option to like kind of like do those more in your junior and senior year would kind of just benefit upperclassmen engagement in general, and just like keep us connected throughout all 4 years rather than just the first two. So
Right.
I really heavily agree with that. Also, just like ice cream every day in the office.
Ice cream every day. Oh my gosh. Already, I love the office just because I can walk in here and get free hot chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, any prospective students, literally just join if you want free coffee. Come in the office anytime. There have been times where I have embarrassingly walked in this office at 3 p.m. on a really rough day and just made a coffee. And Professor Steve looked at me and was like, wow, I think you might drink more caffeine than I do. So
But it's
really,
free.
really is a lifeline.
And the lounge is so cozy. I love the lounge.
I know. It really is a beautiful, beautiful place to be. Comfy leather chairs.
Yeah.
We've
Question
got
of the week.
question of the week on the whiteboard. Can give funny answers, serious answers, anonymous answers. No one will ever know it's you. It's beautiful.
Yeah, sometimes I'm paranoid that my handwriting gives it
Yo,
away.
I will stare at the wall and try and decipher who it is. I'm like, is that Eli? I think it is. Yeah, no, I'm watching out for everyone, because it's just it's kind of fun too. It's like a little puzzle. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a cool answer. Who said it? But yeah, so now that we've kind of talked about your journey from little baby freshman Derrick to now, I mean, you are the senior most member here.
Yes.
How do you feel that the program has impacted your growth now that you can look back on all 4 years? It's
Oh.
crazy to say.
It's done so much for me. Like, as I said, it gave me the people that I still live with and am best friends with now, who like are quite literally like some of the best people I've ever met in my life. They're all just such interesting people. They're like so fun to be around. Going back to extracurriculars, we all do, like, you meet people who do such different things. Like, there are things that, like, my friends have introduced me to that I wouldn't have found otherwise. Like, I have friends involved in SACE, Top Soccer, friends who start clubs like the Citizens Climate Lobby, so that, like, being around people who are so high achieving also, like, inspires me to, like, do that as well, which is, like, kind of, like, why I reached so high and have reached so high in my time in college. So just being around people that are like so devoted and determined and smart and intelligent, but also just like funny and kind individuals is something that like has really shaped my personal growth in college. And as I said, like we all got so close because we were literally sequestered together for the first year. So the community is, I think, my favorite thing and what has impacted me the most. It's challenged me academically, like, you know, like sometimes I just have to like sit back and think, you know, like I'm here for a reason. I was like offered an invite for a reason. It's like helped me like believe in myself that I like can achieve high when like, you know, I'm down on myself, because we all get down on ourselves academically sometimes. But like it's like always pushed me further. You know, now it's also given me experience in the professional field because I work here. So I've gotten like a taste of like what the inner workings of this university are, which is something that like I think is very unique, because not everyone gets the chance to like see those things. It's just shaped me in so many different ways, and I just know I would not be the same without it. So I owe a lot to it, and I'm very happy to like speak highly of it because it does offer so many things that like are so unique that I don't think many other programs on this campus and at other campuses can offer.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was very eloquently put.
We
Thank
love
you,
you, Derek.
So that was our last like real question, but if you listen to the last podcast, you know what time it is. It's game time.
Da-da-da.
So we have a very fun game. Last week we did if Rachel could name all the Scholars Council members.
And I could.
She was incredible. Today is going to be one that involves all of us.
Okay.
And it's going to be a draft of restaurants in the greater Binghamton area. So how it's going to work is we're going to take turns drafting restaurants. We're each going to pick 3 restaurants, and the goal is to have like the best lineup of restaurants. So there's a lot of ways you can approach this. You could say, I just want the 3 best restaurants. You want 3 ones that complement each other, 3 ones that are, you know, diverse and represent a wide range of types of restaurants. However you want to do it, you can draft that way. And then I guess the audience is going to judge who they think has the best roundup of restaurants.
Okay.
All right.
So, not to put you on the spot, Derek, again, but you get to go first, which I think is a benefit here. And then Rachel will go second, I'll go third, and then we'll loop around. So
I'm scared.
I know. Okay. Binghamton restaurants. I'm going to say Lost Dog.
oh man.
Oh, wait, can you not pick anything that I say?
Yeah, once you pick it, we
Oh.
can't
You
take
got it. No,
Yeah.
this is a draft. You're
Okay.
taking the best players right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lost Dog is one of my personal favorites at Binghamton.
Me too.
It's so quintessential Binghamton. Like, I feel like anyone, you know, who like comes here, like, knows it and goes there. It's one me and my parents always go to because they have the best penne alla vodka, like, on the planet. And also a really good chicken sandwich that I usually get. But it's like such like a cozy little like vibe. It's so local but like upscale. And they have really, really good desserts because they have this little dessert kiosk attached to like the side of it. That's just like such a fun time. And the food there is just so good, and I have not been in a while, and I need to go. Now I'm getting hungry thinking about.
We're gonna need to go to all of these restaurants now.
Yeah.
As a program.
All right.
No, as an office. You just said something that I'm very interested in, but I want to claim something first. 205 Dry.
Oh my god, that was my
Oh.
pick. Rachel stole my pick. So Rachel, tell us a little bit about 205 Dry.
Literally the coolest place I think I've ever been to in my entire life.
I haven't been yet.
Oh my gosh, Derek, you need to go. So basically, it is designed like a speakeasy. Was it an actual speakeasy?
I don't know if it was a real
I
one.
don't know if it was.
Okay,
actual one, I
well,
know.
you walk into this little space, and it's literally just like a tiny, like, it's practically the size of a closet. And, like, there's a little chair, and there's this big bookshelf, and then you realize when you pull one of the books, it's a handle, and you open into a restaurant that is designed like a speakeasy, and they have the coolest, like, themed, like, drinks, like, obviously, like, alcoholic beverages, but, like, mocktails. They have the best mocktails on the planet, and, like, the best burgers and sandwiches. I had the best chicken sandwich of my life there, and it's just the most coolest ambiance on the planet. I've, like, never seen anything like it. So, yeah.
With my first pick, I'm gonna take Garage Taco.
Darn it.
No,
that was my
Yeah.
struggle. Do I take Garage or do I take 205?
Yeah, I think we kind of got the big 3.
Yeah.
I think there are plenty of great restaurants though, which we'll get to later. But Garage Taco, which I love for 2 reasons. Number 1, the food is great. Obviously, there's tacos. I don't think I've ever actually had the tacos there, because I usually get the quesadillas,
I
which
get
are
their
really good.
burritos.
Oh no, the fried avocado tacos. I think some of the best like that I've ever eaten in my life.
I got new things to order now. Thank you. Yeah, but they also have karaoke.
They do.
Yes!
Garage
It might
karaoke.
be every other Friday night.
Yeah, it's
I'm
every
not
other
sure.
Friday. I've been so many times. The woman who runs it, great. Like, such a fun time. And there's always like the same people. Like the Binghamton locals go there too. There's this one woman. Her name is Jean, and she goes like every single time I've been there. She's been there, and like she just puts on a show. And I'm like, anytime like Jean's called out to sing, I'm like, oh, like
It's gonna be a good
It's
night.
gonna be good.
Yeah, so there's a funny Scholars karaoke story. Because
There's-
last year we went, Rachel and I, for our friends Justin and Lauren,
Lauren's
who's
their
going to be on the
third-
podcast soon.
Yep.
It was their birthday, so we went, and I don't even think we knew it was karaoke.
We didn't know.
No, that's how I felt like the first time I went. Like I didn't know, and all of a sudden the clock struck 9, and they were like, "Okay, it's karaoke time." And me and my friends were like, because I was with my acapella group, and I was like, we were like, "Oh my god, this is our time!" Like,
Yeah, and so Justin and and not to mention Justin
I
on
was
every
gonna say,
episode.
we're
but,
literally Justin's gonna get a shout out every episode at this point.
yeah,
No.
until we get him on here.
He might
This
need
is a
to be a
pivotal-
special guest
yeah.
just because we talk about him so often.
Yeah, but we sang Another Day from Rent. You know, everything ties back together.
It was iconic. I do have a video that I recorded of the entire thing
oh,
that
my
forever
God.
lives on my phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to make sure that never gets anywhere important. But okay, so Derrick, it's your pick again.
I'm gonna go craft. It's not like I love going to craft. It's a little expensive, but like the food there's still really good. They're like sliders and like very much like American type food. Really good sliders and like the best like fun milkshakes ever. That's the big draw. Like their best milkshakes like I've ever had, and they're so yummy. But their buffalo cauliflower is also so good, and their fried pickles, 10 out of 10. We did a scholars event there where it was like trivia. So we got to play trivia and then also just get free craft food, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing of my life. I think they also had formal art craft. So 10 out of 10 space. It's very, very cute, very, very good food. They have these lights up at the top,
so
and
beautiful.
it's so pretty there. And I get a milkshake every single time I treat myself, and I'm like, yes, this is gonna be a good night. My friends once, they took me there for my birthday, our sophomore year, and I was literally taking a nap, and I wake up to like banging on my door, and it was like 9 p.m. and I was like, what? I was like, I just want to sleep. It's like my birthday. I'm like tired. And they're like, get out of bed. We're going to craft. And I was like, okay. So then we went to craft at like 9 p.m. Got milkshakes and like a bunch of appetizers, and it was like such a fun time. So great. It's one of my top picks because of the memories, the food, and the ambiance. I think it's one of the big ones.
Yeah. All right, Rachel, pick number 5.
All right. You know what? At this point, I'm in a position of struggle. Okay. But, you know, my real favorites, I think, have been stolen at this point.
Ooh.
But I will say, I think I'm going to go Stone Fox.
I like Stone Fox.
I say this because one is fun. They do like a ton of like pizza and stuff like that, and that's just like exciting, and I love that. Especially because I feel like in the local area, all there really is that people get pizza from is Nurchi's, and so like you go to Stone Fox and you can do like fun pizza. But also they have these really cute fire pits, outside of the restaurant, and it's just a vibe. So I'm going Stone Fox.
Nice. I've never been to Stone Fox, but I have been to the place I'm about to pick. And I've realized, like, I'm not going to win this draft going with the big names. I'm going to go unorthodox. I'm going to pick a place you probably have never even heard of.
Ooh.
I guarantee most people listening to this podcast, you've never heard of this place, or maybe you have and you're very lucky. But I'm going to go with Far East Kitchen. It's a Chinese restaurant. They barely have seating. There's like 2 tables. It's really a takeout place, but honestly, I've eaten in there and it's kind of fun. And it's located in the west side of Binghamton. Very convenient if you live off campus. And they have an insane lunch special that's like $6 or $7, and you get a meal plus rice, and you can add soup for $1 if you want. So it's just crazy good value, and the food is like classic Chinese takeout. I love it. They have a huge menu. Definitely would recommend, especially because no one really talks about it.
Yeah, wait, write that down. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'm interested.
What's the name?
It's Far East Kitchen
Okay.
on the west side of Binghamton. And then, Derrick, you have your final pick coming up.
I'm gonna say The Shop.
Never been.
You never been to The Shop?
No.
Oh my god. Okay, no, I'm glad I picked it because now I can talk about it. I'm such a fan of the shop. It's a crepe place.
Oh my goodness, that sounds so fun.
It's beautiful.
Oh, you just gave me a great idea. Continue.
It has like some of the best crepes I've like ever had. They're so delicious. It's on the smaller end, which is why like I love it. It's like so cute. It's like they have like all these like 1950s era style decorations up, so it feels like it just has that like vibe that I just love. And it's also very special to me because it's my parents' favorite. So like whenever they're here, that's where we go. So like I know that like it's like good memories because like I always go to eat there with my parents. We get a bunch of crepes to split, and like it's just like such a fun time. So
I will
yes.
most definitely have to check out.
It's a good one. It's right by garage.
I had no idea. That's crazy.
All right, Rachel, your last pick.
All right, so this whole time I was like hyper fixating on like typical restaurant, you know. But then you mentioned this place in crepes, and I said, "Oh my god, I have a Strange Brew."
Oh yeah,
I like Strange Brew.
Mm-hmm. It's just this like little cafe, but the vibes are just so adorable
Great.
inside
It's,
of
like,
it.
so-
They play great music. They play Arctic Monkeys in there all of the time, which is like my favorite band of all time. But they have like these fun posters, like literally Al Pacino's on the wall for some reason, and there's just like great coffee, like every flavor you can imagine, great breakfast sandwiches, and it's just like a really cute place to go like on the weekends with your friends. So Strange
I
Brew.
know, I've done work in there plenty of times.
Yeah, I love it
It's
there.
Great vibes.
good pick, Rachel.
Thank you.
So I'm with the last pick in the draft. You know, this is a lot of pressure.
Okay.
All right, you know, I'm just gonna go with my gut, and I'm gonna pick one. I'm gonna pick Near Cheese Pizza on Vestal Parkway, because Near Cheese is always there for you.
True.
And
Which
that's
is always there.
True.
it's always there. Every event you go to on this campus, there's gonna be that has free pizza. You
It
can
will be Near Cheese.
bet
It will
it's Near
probably,
Cheese
yeah.
Pizza, and
And it's never let me down.
yeah,
No.
it's always the same exact quality. Very
Yeah, it's never
consistent.
changed.
It is so consistent, and I need consistency.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm just like thinking about it. I'm like, I could go for some Near Cheese
Me
because like it's
too.
just so like recognizable to me because it's their
Exactly.
consistency is
Mhm.
always the same.
It's the familiar favorite. It's
Yes.
everyone knows it, and however you feel about it, you definitely have eaten more than you probably have any other pizza in Binghamton.
Definitely.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah, and I am personally grateful as someone who's thrown events, you know, with late night with the scholars
Yeah,
program.
I've gotten
Near
it.
Cheese, it's cheap, you know, it's you get a lot of it, and people
Big bang
are
for your
happy.
buck.
Yeah, that's excellent value. I think that's kind of the theme of my draft. I want those good value places.
Yes, good value places. True.
Yeah, honestly, I have so much Near Cheese pizza in my freezer right now, you know, from all the like free pizza that I've gotten, and I couldn't finish it. I took it home, so it is always there for me, and I appreciate that. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Scholars of the Capital S
Yay.
podcast. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope to see you again on our next episode.
Yes, and thank you so much, Derrick, for coming in today and
thank
chatting
you.
with us. We
Thank
don't know
you.
what we'd do without you.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. Thank you guys so much for having me. I had such a great time. I loved talking about me and my experience.